Hi everyone, welcome to the Sip and Spin. On tonight's episode, we're going to take a look at gin and tonic, not gin and tonic, Shetland sheep and Southdown sheep. For the Mocktail gin and tonic, I went with Seedlip Grove. Seedlip has 3 flavors of non-alcohol based spirits, and it's kind of an interesting company. So they have Grove, Spice, and Garden. Grove and Spice are my 2 favorites, and I think Grove does a really nice job of mimicking what a traditional gin tastes like. I paired that with a little bit of grapefruit juice and some sparkling grapefruit flavored Perrier. Now for the gin and tonic, I went with an Irish gin because it is a wild botanical and it really does have a botanical flair to it. And I thought that did a really nice job of pairing with the Shetland wool that I was working with, and I'll explain that in just a second. And Fever Tree is one of my favorite tonics. Realistically, you could just mix a little bit of grapefruit juice with the Fever Tree elderflower tonic water, and you'd also have something very similar. So you have 3 options here. You can either go with the Seedlip and the grapefruit sparkling water, just the elderflower tonic with a splash of grapefruit juice, or an Irish, and there are a number of different Irish gins available, an Irish gin and the Fever Tree elderflower. So tonight on our show, we're going to talk a little bit about Shetland and Southdown. I'll do that in just a second. Shetland sheep are a hardy breed that originated in England. The Shetland Islands are rugged, to say the least. And as I was researching, I found something kind of interesting. There is actually a gin distillery on one of the Shetland Islands. And so that was one of the things that got me thinking about, well, would that make an appropriate drink when working with this fiber? And so when I obtained this fleece, and the fleece that I'm working with is a Shetland fleece from Jared Lloyd of Suncroft Fibers. He also produces yarn and has a shop out in Oregon. He works closely with Jake Valentine, and as I've mentioned before, if you haven't had the opportunity to check out Dark Side Shearing, I would certainly encourage you to do so. The fleece that I've been working with is Shetland lamb named Tango. And the really cool thing about the whole Shave 'em to Save 'em project is you get to meet these farmers and you get to meet the sheep and learn the sheep's names and learn about them. And so I learned a little bit about this lamb, and what was really cool is as I was bidding on this fleece, Jared actually spun a little bit of fiber in the grease on his jeans. He did jean spinning really quickly, and I got that sample as well. And I was so shocked when I got this fleece sample because I think it does a beautiful job of demonstrating the huge variety that you can get with Shetland sheep. Even though this is a lamb, I have this incredibly long staple length right here. And this is the main fleece, and you've got the tips right here. Now, when you're buying a lamb fleece, this is one of the things that you need to look for. And a good farmer or a good shepherd will tell you that a lamb fleece will probably have roux lines, which means you should be able to pull the tips off, and this lamb is incredibly hardy. Tango's tips don't want to come off. And you've got all of these different, now I think this one, if I pull hard enough, this fleece down here is new growth. So I think if I separate out this lock and pull, I'm pretty sure I will be able to separate these 2 pieces. Yes. And so this separates into 2 different pieces, but it's not the main lock. This is from a different part of the same sheep. And then you've got these dark colors and these light colors. I can't believe how dark these darks are. This is all from the same fleece, which is pretty amazing. And so as I've been working with Tango, as I was watching the auction, Jared was saying this is a fleece that you want to comb. And I was thinking to myself, no, I'm going to put it through the drum carder. I'll be fine. Well, this is what happened when I put it through the drum carder. I got all of these neps from that break right there. And when I processed this, I did a little bit of pre-prep, but for the most part, I did an overnight soak, and then I did a scour, a couple of rinses, and let it dry. But as you can see, I have all of these neps in the fiber that I combed, or that I carded. This is the fiber that I combed, and you can see it's completely smooth. There are no neps. And because I'm going to spin this lace weight, I don't want any neps. So I'm going to go back through with the rest of this and put it through the combs. Shetland fiber is an amazing fiber. It's incredibly soft, and there are a lot of different micron counts, textures, colors. It's really, really a fun fiber to work with. So I would encourage you, if you're kind of new to processing fleeces, Shetland might be a good fleece to start out with. The second fleece that I'm going to talk about tonight, or the second breed I'm going to talk about tonight, is Southdown. Now, again, I'm going to say this a lot, so I apologize. This is why I joined the Shave 'em to Save 'em. I had never worked with Southdown fiber before. I had never even considered it. This is another sheep that comes from England as well. It's a relatively old breed that was brought to the United States. I had no idea what I was getting into when I started working with this fiber. And it's got to be probably one of the funnest fibers that I've ever worked with. So the fleece that I got is from Sweet Spring Farm, and the name of the lamb, or the ewe, is Jumper. I cannot think of a more appropriate name because here is the raw fleece. And as you can see, Southdown fleece is relatively short. It has a short staple length. But one of the things that I found amazing, and I laughed as I started working with this fleece, it actually has springiness. And I mean, I don't even know if that's the appropriate term, but when you work with this, it has amazing crimp and it's springy. I mean, I can't think of a better name for a ewe than Jumper, because the fleece literally bounces back. Even after you're working with it, the memory is amazing. This is fleece that I hand carded, and as you can see, it's neppy and it doesn't hold together well. This is fleece that I combed, and I noticed that there were still neps in here as well, and I wasn't real pleased with that. There's been a lot of chatter on Facebook about the benefits or going back and forth between hand cards and a drum carder. This is fleece that I put through my drum carder, and I just have a little tiny Louette Junior. It's a small drum carder, but as you can see, it is much smoother. There's still some neps in here, and I'm actually okay with that. What got me is the fact that it's so springy. It actually bounces back. It's a little bit, I've never worked with a sheep. It's like one of those exercise things. It pulls apart a little bit. And I'm okay with it. And the reason why I'm okay with having a few neps in there is because I plan on spinning this Aran weight, and I plan on spinning this lace weight. The project that I am going to attempt is a knitting project designed to teach knitters about cabling and shaping, and I will show that to you as I progress through. So please join me for my next episode when I showcase another couple breeds, and then stay tuned and check out my Instagram and my Facebook page, because that's where I'll be posting pictures of the yarn that I spin and the progress as I work through each of these projects. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again. Happy spinning.